Every trader says they want freedom, but most never get it. This year alone, I've already helped 7 traders break free from the 9-to-5 trap. Here's how they did it and how you can too. But you have to be very careful when you transition from full-time work to full-time trading. There's a trap that most traders fall into that mean they end up having to go back to their full-time job. So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can make the transition smoothly and successfully and sustain it over a long period of time. It was about 5 years or so when I decided that I wanted to transition into full-time trading. And at the time, I was making good returns with my trading. I had a good amount of capital, and it made sense for me to transition into full-time trading. However, there were 1 or 2 things that I didn't consider and I missed out on in the planning process. And the moment I transitioned into full-time trading, the market didn't present opportunities that were part of my plan for 2 months. And now all of a sudden, I was at the mercy of the markets to generate income, but the market wasn't willing to provide any opportunities. In this video, I'm going to break down step by step how you can go from full-time work to full-time trading. But make sure you watch to the end because I'm going to show you how you can avoid this mistake that most traders make. Now, I want you to comment below your biggest trading psychology challenge. I want to offer you some help. One of the most attractive things about trading is the opportunity to do it for a living so that you can have a semi-active mobile income where you can trade from anywhere in the world, generate income, and go off and live the life you would love to live. And the idea sounds nice, but the reality is slightly different. And although there are more risks and drawbacks in reality, if you are well prepared for those risks and drawbacks, you can make that transition successfully to full-time trading and reap the benefits of your skill as a trader. And like I said, I've helped many traders already this year do it. And there are certain principles you can follow and certain things you can do to increase the probability of making that transition smoothly and sustaining that in the long run. Now, one principle that's very important to understand is that sometimes what we do as traders is we build up this fantasy in our mind about what we think full-time trading is going to look like. And in our mind, it's this all positive idea of being able to travel anywhere, to be able to trade from the beach and live that lifestyle. And we exaggerate how good it is, how much benefit and how much pleasure it's going to bring us. And because we don't have what we think we're going to get with full-time trading, our life in contrast is a nightmare and it's depressing and we build up resentment. But you have to be very careful. This idea we exaggerate and create in our mind isn't even real. It's just an exaggerated fantasy that we think we're going to get, but the reality of full-time trading is very, very different. The truth and the reality is the center point between the two. The truth is there's going to be drawbacks to full-time trading. And the truth is there are benefits to your full-time job. And before you make the transition, you have to become aware of both the drawbacks of full-time trading to break that fantasy and see it for what it will really be like, and also find the benefits of your current work so you can appreciate your job that you're working right now, recognize what it's bringing you, and make that transition smoothly. You don't want to go full-time trading because you hate your job. That's a trap you're going to fall into, because whatever you're trying to run away from in terms of the nightmare that you have at your work and your job, it's just going to reappear in different forms in your full-time trading and have the same problems repeat themselves. So there are ways to make that transition smooth to ensure you successfully do that. I'm going to show you how to do that in this video. So I think every trader should aspire to go full-time with their trading so they can move away from a job that maybe they're not enjoying, or if they're really enjoying their job, they maintain the job. The point here is if you build the skill as a trader, you have options. You can do what it is you feel like you would love to do. But there are wise ways to transition from your full-time job into full-time trading. Let's go through them right now. The first thing that each trader needs to have before they go full-time with their trading, this is a checklist I've put together that's going to save you a lot of pain, suffering, and money if you follow it step by step. These are all the mistakes I made. These are all the mistakes that my clients and students have made. And I've put them together and I've given you the actionable solutions to ensure that you can transition smoothly into full-time trading. The first thing you want is a mechanical trading plan. You need to know that you have a trading strategy that's going to reap you rewards and returns over a large sample space. You need to know you have an edge. Then you need to put this edge into a mechanical system so that it can be replicable. Because as a full-time trader, you're going to need a full-time income coming in, a consistent income coming in. The only way you can guarantee a consistent income is by ensuring you have an edge put into a mechanical system, which then allows you to replicate that edge over a large sample space. And that's what brings you consistent income over the sample space of 6 months or over a year. The next thing you want to have is the Bulletproof Your Trading Mindset tool, 2.0 tool. And what this tool is going to allow you to do is it's going to allow you to manage your psychology before you take each trade to ensure you stick to your trading plan. One of the biggest problems that traders face when they're full-time trading is now they attach extra fantasies and attachments to the outcome of a trade. A trade becomes more significant now because they need the money to cover bills and expenses. So as a full-time trader, you have to become aware of any ideas you're attaching to the outcome of a trade, because that then drives a greater degree of greed, and as a result, a greater degree of fear of missing out on that trade, which impacts your ability to stick to your trading plan. So no matter when you're trading, but especially when you're trading full-time, it's crucial to use the Bulletproof Your Trading Mindset tool, which will make you aware of your expectations before a trade. It will help you ground them, and it will help you adhere to your trading plan before every single trade. This tool is crucial in ensuring that now that you have a trading plan, you actually stick to it, and over a long period of time, you can consistently pull payouts from the market. Now, if you don't already have a copy of this tool, it's completely free. It's the first link in the description, the first link in the first comment. So make sure you download that, watch the course, and use the tool every single trading day. It's completely free. First link in the comment, first link in the description. Now, the next thing you want to do before you go full-time is you need to have proof of trading payouts. Too many traders live in a fantasy land about what they think is going to happen in the future, as opposed to being grounded in truth and fact of how things are right now. And if you're going to transition to full-time trading, you're going to rely on an income source, you want to make sure that it's actually proven to be profitable. So after you have a mechanical trading plan and you use the Bulletproof Your Mindset tool every single trade, you want to then guarantee and have proof of trading payouts. So this means you've scaled up with a funded account or whatever, and you have enough capital, personal capital behind you, and you're proof to yourself that you can pull profits out of the market. And you want to just show yourself that you can consistently pull profits out of the market. For example, over a 6-month period, you can pull profits out of the market. You may not pull profits every single day, every single week, maybe not even every single month, but over a larger sample space, like 6 to 12 months, you can see that you've pulled a reasonable amount of profit out of the market. That's step number 2. So if you go through and tick this, you can move on to the next step. The next step you want to ensure before you go full-time as a trader is that you have a 6-month cash cushion. And I was lucky I did this, and that's what saved me from the dry up of opportunity in the markets. The truth is, we're playing a probability model. Nothing's guaranteed in the market. And just because price performed a certain way in the past doesn't guarantee it's going to happen again in the future. You always want to plan these backup options and contingencies just in case you don't make money from the market for a couple months. At least you have cash there to cover your basic needs and expenses. And that way, what it really is, what a cash cushion really does, is it provides you psychological reassurance so that you don't impose too much greed and expectation on the market. And as a result, you don't impose too much fear into your trading, and you can just consistently stick to your trading plan without this fear or this worry that you're not going to make money, because you've got cash cushion there to cover if you need it. So a cash cushion is a psychological cushion, a psychological buffer that will keep you sticking to your trading plan. Then the next step, and the most important exercise in this full checklist, you want to go through and you want to break this fantasy of full-time trading. The truth is, full-time trading has both benefit. It's going to give you more opportunities, it's going to give you more time. It's going to free you up from potentially an uninspiring 9-to-5 job, but there are also going to be challenges. The truth is, a full-time trader is now you have to make money for yourself. You're not going to get a consistent paycheck every week or every 2 weeks or every month. You no longer have the security of an employer. You no longer have the social environment that you once had at work. You no longer have the time constraints and the accountability of a boss or someone else holding you accountable. You now have to be self-accountable. So there are real drawbacks being a full-time trader. You want to become aware of them in advance before making the transition, as opposed to going into full-time trading blinded to these drawbacks and then realizing them, getting smacked by them when you become a full-time trader. So you want to go in there and make an extensive list of all the drawbacks of being a full-time trader. One of them being that you're now reliant on a probability model, a trading strategy in a market that may not present opportunity to you, and you have to generate your own income. There's no secure income coming from a job anymore. That's the biggest drawback of being a full-time trader. You're now accountable to generate your own income. And you want to make an extensive list of drawbacks to being a full-time trader until you can see that being a full-time trader has just as many drawbacks as benefits in your mind. And then you want to take all the drawbacks that you perceive as challenging and significant And then you want to plan contingencies for them. Okay, if this happens, what's my action plan? What are 3 actions I can do to lower the probability of this coming true? And what are 3 actions I can do to lower the impact if it comes true? And what you're doing is you're planning a contingency for a drawback so you're prepared if that happens. And that way, if that drawback comes true, you just act based on your contingency plan as opposed to reacting and becoming emotional and then revenge trading and over trading and then letting that influence your trading. So it's essential that you now plan contingencies for each of those drawbacks. And by the way, one of the biggest contingencies you can have in place is that 6-month cash cushion. Then you want to go in there and find all the benefits of working your full-time job for the next 3 to 6 months. You get a secure source of income. You get paid to learn how to trade. You've got a social environment at work. Maybe that's important to you to be able to socialize with individuals. Maybe when you're working full-time, you have less time, therefore you prioritize your time and use your time wisely. Another drawback of being a full-time trader is you have all this time that some traders have no idea what to do with all this time. They end up spending more time at the charts. They end up over trading, forcing positions, all that type of stuff. So you want to go in there and find an extensive list of drawbacks until the drawbacks equal the benefits. And then you want to come in here to your full-time job and find an extensive list of benefits until the benefits equal the drawbacks. So you can see this truthfully for what it is, and you can see this truthfully for what it is. And now you can still transition to being a full-time trader because you believe that's the next best step in your mission and helping you fulfill your overall mission in life, but you do it aware of both sides of it. And you can transition smoothly. And you can realize that what you're leaving behind here, so you can plan for that in the new form with the full-time trading. So you can make that transition as opposed to, I hate my job, I'm going to take the plunge and become a full-time trader, and then you realize, oh shit, my full-time job was actually really important. It's providing me income. I no longer have income anymore. I'm now stressed because of all the bills. So then whatever the stresses you're running away from here, you're going to attract in your full-time trading if you don't do that exercise properly. But if you're prepared and you're aware and you plan the contingencies, then you can make that transition smoothly. So that's the next thing you want to do. And then if you've done this and this and this and this, why don't you just test out full-time trading? Take a week off your full-time work and test it out. You may not even like it. Or you may consider before becoming a full-time trader and leaving your full-time job entirely, you can work part-time and you can trade part-time. And that way you have a little bit of time to dedicate to your work, something that you get a social connection from that. You get a little bit of income from that that's guaranteed. Maybe you enjoy your work and it stimulates you immensely. Maybe you get great training benefits or contacts that you can take advantage of. And then you can also trade part-time. And you realize that you don't need all day to trade. You can just trade in certain time zones and time windows and set limit orders sometimes. Or if you truly want to make that transition into full-time trading, you can do that as well. But at least you've tried it first and you've tried this, and then you can transition to full-time trading. And then, hey, put your resignation in if that's what you're inspired to do and you've planned for and you've got the results for. But then when you're a full-time trader, it's incredibly important to dedicate your time to something else. Maybe that's a business that you take your skills and services and use that to create a service or a product to help other people. You get paid in fair exchange. Or maybe you focus doubling down on scaling your trading and going down the private investment route and the hedge fund route to really level up as a trader and starting your own fund. Or maybe you start something that's a little bit more meaningful and philanthropic to you and use part of your trading profits to grow a legacy or to build something philanthropic or something that's a meaningful cause to you. But one thing's for certain is you're going to have a lot of time as a full-time trader. And you want to dedicate your time to something that's meaningful to you so you're fulfilled, and something that helps fill in a bit of the time throughout the day. Whether that's, maybe you love your health and fitness, you want to spend more time with health and fitness, or maybe you want to spend more time with your family. Whatever's meaningful to you, there's no right or wrong. But what I'm trying to do here is open your mind to realize that you're going to need to dedicate your time to something else. Okay, so this is the checklist. Mechanical trading plan with bulletproof mindset tool. Proof of payouts. Don't make such a significant transition on what you think. Do it because you've got data to prove that what you're doing is wise to do and you make money from it. Have a 6-month cash cushion. You never know what's going to happen in the market next. Find the drawbacks of being a full-time trader. Plan contingencies for them. Find the benefits of your full-time job. Realize what you're truly leaving behind. Consider doing a part-time work and part-time trading, or if you're really inspired to, become a full-time trader. I encourage it to traders. It's a gift that every trader gets the opportunity to develop the skill to become and have the opportunity to become a full-time trader, but you need to make that transition smoothly and wisely. And then when you finally do become a full-time trader, make sure you dedicate your time to something that's truly meaningful to you, so that you got meaning and you got a little bit more of a structure and accountability, and you can be fulfilled in what you do day to day. Okay? If you found this useful, make sure you like and subscribe. It tells YouTube it's valuable content. It pushes it out to a wider audience. And before you click away, make sure you check out this next video that's going to pop up on your screen. This is going to teach you a profound mindset, principle, and structure, a mental model that's going to ensure that you can consistently stick to your trading plan and sustain consistent profitability no matter what amount of capital you're trading, and as a full-time trader as well.